Okay, before we really start today, I have to ask, did you also just come out of a meeting where you nodded a lot but didn't fully understand everything?
Yes, that is painfully accurate.
Right? It's like your head is saying yes, 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 but inside your brain is saying, wait, what?
Exactly. And you're smiling, trying to look normal, but your mind is already running.
That smile is very international. Everyone does it.
Yeah, I use it a lot. Hi everyone, by the way. I'm Alex. I work in an office, and English is not my first language.
And I'm Mary. I work with people who use English at work every day, especially in meetings where things move fast and no one really slows down.
Which is basically every meeting.
Exactly. So welcome back to English on Autopilot. And before we go on, if these conversations feel familiar to you and help you feel a little calmer with English, you can like this video and subscribe to the channel. It helps us reach more people who quietly struggle with the same things.
Yes, and honestly, it helps to know you're not the only one.
All right, let's talk about that moment.
Oh no, that moment.
The moment in a meeting when someone finishes explaining something, and then you suddenly realize you didn't catch all of it.
Yes, my heart does a little jump right there.
Mine too. And English is my first language.
Really?
Really. Meetings can be confusing for everyone. But when English is not your first language, that moment feels heavier.
It does, because I'm thinking, should I ask? Is this a bad time? What if everyone else understood? So I stay quiet.
And the meeting just keeps going.
Yes, no one stops, no one checks, and I feel like I missed something important.
That feeling, that tight feeling in your chest, that's what we're talking about today.
I'm already relieved just hearing that.
Let's pause for a second. If you've been in this situation, you don't need to fix it right now. Just notice the feeling, the confusion, the hesitation. This is very common.
That actually helps, because in my head, it always feels like it's just me.
It's not just you, not at all. And here's something important. Not understanding something in a meeting does not mean your English is bad.
That's really good to hear.
Most of the time, it just means the meeting is fast or unclear or full of information.
Yes, people talk quickly and then move on.
Exactly. So today, we're not trying to speak perfect English. We're learning what to say in that exact moment when you don't understand and you still want to sound calm and professional.
That sounds very useful and very needed.
Good. Because we're going to practice together, slowly and without pressure. Let's start with the first thing you can say when you don't understand in a meeting.
Okay, I'm ready.
All right, so let's go right into it. The meeting is moving fast. Someone says something important.
Yes, that's exactly when I freeze.
Most people do. So let's start with something simple. You don't need a long sentence. You don't need perfect English. You just need a calm, polite way to ask to hear it again.
That already sounds less scary.
Good, because it really can be simple. For example, you can say, "Sorry, could you repeat that?"
Sorry, could you repeat that? That actually sounds very normal.
It is, and people use it all the time. Notice something important here. You are not saying, "I don't understand English."
Right, I'm just asking to hear it again.
Exactly. And if you want to sound a little softer, a little more polite, you can add one small word. "Sorry, could you repeat that, please?"
Sorry, could you repeat that, please? That feels safe.
It is safe. And here's another option. Could you say that again?
Could you say that again? That one feels very natural.
Yes, very natural, very professional. And notice, you don't need to explain yourself.
I think that's what surprises me. I always think I need to say more.
You really don't. In meetings, people ask for repetition all the time, even native speakers.
That actually makes me feel better.
Good. Now let's slow down for a practice moment. If you're listening, pause the video for just a second. Say this sentence out loud, just once. Sorry, could you repeat that, please? Take your time.
I just said it out loud. It felt less difficult than I expected.
Exactly. When you say it calmly, it sounds calm. And here's one more thing. You don't need to sound confident to be professional.
That's interesting.
Being clear is more important than sounding perfect. So let's try one more. Sorry, I didn't catch that. Could you repeat it?
Sorry, I didn't catch that. Could you repeat it? That one feels very real.
It is very real, and it works. You can use it in meetings, on calls, or even one-on-one conversations at work.
I can already think of a few times I could have used this.
We all can. And remember, asking to repeat is not a problem. Staying silent when you're confused is the real problem.
That really changes how I see it.
Good. Now that you're comfortable asking someone to repeat, let's talk about what to say when the problem is not speed, but understanding. That's next. All right. So now you've asked someone to repeat. But sometimes the problem is not repetition. Sometimes the words come again, but they come just as fast.
Yes, that's exactly it. They repeat, but nothing really changes.
Exactly. And this is very common in meetings. People are busy, they're thinking ahead, they don't always realize they're speaking quickly.
That makes sense. But in that moment, I still feel stuck.
And this is where many people go silent again. But you don't need to. You can guide the conversation, politely.
That sounds powerful, and also a little scary.
It sounds scarier than it is. Let's start with something very gentle. You can say, "Sorry, could you slow down a bit?"
Sorry, could you slow down a bit? That actually sounds okay.
It is okay. Notice how soft that is. You're not saying, "You're speaking too fast."
Right, I'm just asking for help.
Exactly. And if you want to sound even more polite, you can add one word. Sorry, could you slow down a bit, please?
Sorry, could you slow down a bit, please? That feels respectful.
It is respectful. Now, what if the speed is fine, but the explanation is confusing?
Yes, that happens a lot too.
Then you can shift the focus. Instead of talking about speed, you talk about clarity. For example, "Sorry, could you explain that again?"
Sorry, could you explain that again? That one feels very professional.
It is. And here's another very natural option. Could you explain that in a different way?
Could you explain that in a different way? Oh, I like that one.
Most people do, because you're not saying it was bad.
I'm just saying I need it differently.
Exactly. And this works beautifully in meetings. People often want to explain better.
I never thought of it like that.
Most people don't. Now, let's pause for a short practice moment. If you're listening, say this sentence once. Could you explain that in a different way? Take your time.
I said it. It sounds calm, not weak.
Exactly. Calm English is strong English. And here's one more option for moments when you understand part of it, but not all.
That's very real.
You can say, "Sorry, I understand the first part, but could you explain the rest?"
Sorry, I understand the first part, but could you explain the rest? That actually feels very confident.
It is confident. You're showing that you are listening and you're guiding the conversation.
I like that. It feels more in control.
That's because it is. Remember this. You don't need perfect English to lead a moment in a meeting. You just need calm, clear phrases.
I can already imagine using these.
Good, because next we'll talk about what to say when you need a little time to think before you answer. That's another moment where many people freeze.
Yes, I'm definitely ready for that one.
All right. This next moment is very important because this is where many people freeze completely.
Yes, this is my worst moment.
When someone finishes speaking and then looks at you and everyone is waiting.
Yes, all eyes on me. And my brain suddenly says, nothing.
That silence feels loud.
Very loud.
Here's the good news. You don't need to answer immediately. In meetings, buying a little time is normal.
Really?
Really. And there are very polite, very professional ways to do it.
Okay, I need those.
Let's start with something simple. You can say, "Let me think about that for a moment."
Let me think about that for a moment. That sounds very professional.
It is. Notice what you're doing here. You're not saying, "I don't know."
I'm just saying I need a moment.
Exactly. And that moment helps your brain relax.
I can feel that already.
Here's another one. Let me check if I understand this correctly.
Let me check if I understand this correctly. Oh, that one is good.
It's very good because now you're buying time and showing engagement.
Yes, it sounds thoughtful.
Exactly. And here's a favorite in meetings. That's a good question.
That's a good question. That feels nice to say.
It really does. And it works. You can follow it with, "Let me think for a second."
That's a good question. Let me think for a second. Wow, that feels very natural.
Because it is. People say this all the time. Let's pause here for a practice moment. If you're listening, say this out loud once. That's a good question. Let me think for a second. Take your time.
I said it. And honestly, it feels like I'm allowed to think.
Exactly. You are allowed to think. Meetings are not tests.
That's such a good reminder.
Here's another helpful one. Can I come back to that in a moment?
Can I come back to that in a moment? That sounds confident.
It is confident. And it's very respectful. You're not avoiding the question.
I'm just asking for time.
Exactly. And most people will say yes.
I always thought that would look bad.
Soft smile and voice. It doesn't. What looks worse is staying silent and looking uncomfortable.
That's true.
Let's connect all of this. When you don't understand, you can ask to repeat. When it's too fast, you can ask to slow down. And when you need time, you can buy it politely.
It feels like I finally have options.
That's the key. Freezing happens when you feel you have no options. Now you do.
That's a really good feeling.
Good. Because next, we're going to talk about what to say when you understand the question, but still don't know how to answer. That's another very real moment.
Yes, and I'm feeling much calmer already.
Okay, this next moment is a big one, because this is where many people think, I understand the question, but my mind is empty.
Yes, that happens to me a lot. I know what they're asking, but the words just don't come.
And that moment feels different from not understanding. It feels more personal.
Exactly. I start thinking, why can't I say anything?
Let's stop that thought right there. That moment does not mean your English is bad. It usually means your brain is under pressure.
That actually explains a lot.
Here's the shift that helps. When you understand but don't know what to say, you don't need an answer yet. You just need a bridge.
A bridge?
Yes, a short sentence that connects understanding to speaking. For example, you can say, I see what you mean.
I see what you mean. That feels calm.
It is calm, and it tells everyone you're following the conversation.
I like that.
Here's another one people use all the time. That makes sense.
That makes sense. That actually feels good to say.
Because it works. These phrases slow the moment down and give your brain space.
I can feel that already.
Now let's add one more layer. After I see what you mean, you can say, let me think about the best way to respond.
I see what you mean. Let me think about the best way to respond. Wow, that sounds very professional.
It is. And you didn't rush.
No, I didn't.
Here's another strong one. That's a good point.
That's a good point. That one feels confident.
Because it is. You're acknowledging the idea before adding yours.
I never thought about it that way.
Let's do a quick practice together. Say this once, out loud. I see what you mean. Let me think for a moment.
I said it, and honestly, my shoulders relaxed a bit.
Exactly. That's what these phrases do. Here's one more option for moments when you still need time. I'd like to take a moment and come back with a clear answer.
I'd like to take a moment and come back with a clear answer. That feels respectful.
It is. And it shows responsibility, which matters at work.
Yes, it really does.
Now let's connect this to confidence. Confidence is not fast English. Confidence is calm English.
That really changes how I think about speaking.
Good. You don't need clever sentences. You need clear bridges that help you move forward.
I actually feel like I have tools now.
You do. And this is where freezing starts to disappear.
I can feel that already.
Good, because next we'll bring everything together and talk about how to leave a meeting feeling calm, professional, and more confident for the next one.
That sounds like a great way to end.
All right, let's take a moment and look at what you've done today. You learned how to ask someone to repeat. You learned how to ask them to slow down. You learned how to buy time. And you learned how to respond calmly even when your mind feels a little blank. That's not small. That's real progress.
It really feels different now. Earlier, meetings felt like something I had to survive. Now, they feel a little more manageable.
That's exactly the goal. Not perfect English, not fast English, calm English you can actually use.
And honestly, knowing what to say in those quiet moments changes everything.
It really does, because confidence doesn't come from knowing everything. It comes from knowing what to do when you don't.
That's such a good way to put it.
And remember this, freezing doesn't mean you failed. It just means your brain needed support. Now you have that support.
I wish I had learned this earlier.
Most people do. But the good news is you're learning it now. If this episode helped you, take a second to like the video and subscribe to English on Autopilot. We create calm, practical English conversations for real work situations, the ones that actually matter.
And we'd really love to hear from you.
Yes, tell us in the comments. What part of meetings is hardest for you in English? Is it understanding, responding, speaking up, or feeling confident when everyone is watching?
You're not alone in this. Reading other people's experiences helps more than you think.
And if there's a specific work situation you want us to practice next, tell us that too. We're building these episodes for you.
And we'll see you in the next one.
Until then, keep it calm, keep it simple, and trust yourself a little more.
See you next time.